Welcome to Garden Valley Church Podcasts. We are so looking forward to having you join us today.
Welcome to Wow, Look at Us Now podcast. I'm your host, Rochelle Onslager.
And I'm Michael Onslager.
Hey guys, we are going to talk about staying connected after high school today.
Yeah.
Okay, that was so awkward.
This one I'm interested in for sure because I lost contact with people in my high school realm my sophomore year. I moved away.
But that's totally fine, to be honest.
No, it is. I'm just saying I moved away, so I kind of just the friends that because I moved back into my hometown, so all the friends that I had before I left, I didn't keep in contact with really, and then moving back here, I lost a lot of contact. There's 3 or 4 that I was able to text and talk to or have on social media when I still had it. But as far as that goes, I wasn't really connected at all. So it was mainly just the people from your family's church that I got to come see and my family.
Yeah. But so what we're kind of going to be, I would say, talking about when meaning staying connected after high school is not necessarily with people.
Yeah.
Of your high school. It's more how do you stay connected in the church or getting to meet new people, new friendships, how to stay connected as a young adult after leaving high school. That's what we'll basically say. Which I think the biggest thing on why it's so hard to stay connected with groups from the church is because they don't have a young adult group or anything. You have youth group, you have the kids group only for a short time, well actually for a while, and then you go into youth group next, and then after you graduate high school and you're out of that age range, then you really don't have too many more places to go as in a group. I mean, except if you go to Garden Valley, because 829,
now there
represent.
Is, but it's even hard for people that are, because we even had a whole Wednesday night thing dedicated to the teens that had just graduated high school and were coming over, because that even in itself is a scary transition. So to stay connected after that, because some of your friends are still in the youth group, and then now you're trying to make new friends in this adult group, and you're trying to figure out where you now fit in because you're in this awkward phase. It's like me and shirt sizes. I'm now in this extra large.
Yeah, a schmedium.
In a schmedium, and now I'm a large fits really tight.
No, you're in extra large.
It's perfect. It's perfect from the belly down. A large t-shirt fits. But from the belly up, it doesn't fit very well. So then I go to an extra large, and the top half works just fine, but the lower half is just super huge. So.
It's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when I think of transitioning. That's what I think of.
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
Because it's okay, I could fit this kind of, but I could fit into this kind of as well, but neither work the way I want them to.
Okay, so I actually asked someone. I think it was actually social media, and I got this answer back, and I really loved it, how she responded. But I said something about what is something that is a good topic, whatever. But she said, I think the awkward age gap after high school. Friends leave you're old enough. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Friends leave old enough to make your own decisions, and you leave the house. But how do you find where you belong in the extracurricular activities as being an adult? Because there's no more sports or clubs. I think the church puts lots of focus on high school youth because they are the next generations, but I feel a lot of them get dumped or forgotten after they age out of the youth group. I'm wow. I'm that is so true. I never really thought about it too much because, I was in a rebelling stage, and it was a different part of my life when I graduated high school. But she said, but I feel for me, it was definitely got dark and lonely between 18 years old to 22-ish because so many decisions, but I wanted independence and didn't want to screw up or get judged for not doing what their parents anticipated for them, etc. It's just so much pressure to be at the church with the lost, but don't become the lost in the process. Is hard when you're discovering boundaries and exploring freedom now that you're not in your parents' house anymore. There's just not too much to do for young adults to keep them busy, to grow, to learn who they're meant to be, but also learning your identity without being directly under your parents, you know? There's just a lot of decisions to be made and lots of worldly things to do, but be expected to not participate. I remember right after graduating, I decided to go to college, not knowing what I wanted to study, and I became very discouraged, and I knew I wasn't supposed to go to college at this time, is what I felt spiritually, but I continued to go every day, and I stepped on the pavement of the school. My stomach would literally make me so sick until I stopped going, and I realized I was only going because of my friends were, and it was a cool thing to do. So just like having so much pressure of doing things. I mean, that's a kind of another subject in itself, but like feeling like that you have to do college because that's the thing that you have to do. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, I mean, I went to college for a short bit, and then obviously I couldn't go anymore because I ended up getting pregnant and so sick that I was about dying. But I don't feel like everyone, and this might be an unpopular opinion and whoever thinks different, but I don't feel like everyone has to go to college. I don't feel like that's, I mean, yes, it's good to get an education. Yes, it's good to keep connected and stuff, but that's not necessarily what keeps you connected. If anything, it might make you go the opposite way in college.
I wouldn't even like specifically, say college in general. I think it's a matter of activities, like as a whole.
Yeah.
Activities as a whole. Like if you have a bunch of friends that like to go fishing, and that's where you're going to be able to spend time with them, then fishing is kind of a hobby that you might think about taking up, because like that's where your friend group is. That's what they're doing. One of the associate pastors here told me, he's like, well, there was a group of guys that I looked up to and that I considered friends, and I wanted to be better spiritually and better. And they like to ride motorcycles. So what did I do? I went out and I got a motorcycle and started spending time in their world so that I could, learn from them and glean from them and stuff. So I think as far as that goes, like it's activities in general. And in high school or just leaving high school, you're kind of like all over the place.
Well, yeah, because you're trying to, number one, make all these life decisions at 18 when really you're still a kid. Well, if they say you're illegally an adult or whatever, that's still like a child, though. Yeah. From when I was 18 to even 25, I was a completely different person. I mean, I'm still Rochelle, but and all the experiences, I'm like, that's so much pressure to put on someone. But to stay connected and just making like new friendships, I think is like a base thing. Is like putting yourself out there is like getting uncomfortable. Being comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Because you're going to have to be vulnerable in your own state to let people in. So making yourself available and being intentional in your relationships to like make friends. If your church doesn't have a young adult group afterwards, like, yes, youth group, but if they don't have like a younger adults or singles or whatever, married couple kind of thing, I would say at least, I'm not saying to leave the church, but you obviously stay in your own church. But I think if there's another church, if there's another church that has a group of young adults, I would say do that. Because you have to get plugged in. You need people. You need friendships. Yeah. Like trying to do everything on your own is just overwhelming as well. And there's already a lot of pressure in trying to find out your identity and who you are once you're not under your parents, which obviously comes from God too. Especially if you know your identity in Christ, like that's definitely going to change the outlook of where you go and what you do.
So did you ever struggle or to stay connected after a transition?
Did I ever struggle to stay connected after transition?
Yeah, transitioning, let's say, from high school to after high school.
Oh yeah,
From
definitely. Because actually, what was worse? It's so funny. I was like actually thinking of something like, what can I think of? And I'm pretty sure God just dropped this in my head because I was like, God, you better like make me or help me with questions because I might not be able to come up with something because it was kind of a last minute thing. But mine was hard. It wasn't after high school. It was because, well, yes, it was. So after high school, of course, a few of like my closest friends that I was like our group, there was like my best friends, almost, I think all 3 or 4 of them. One of them stayed in Roseburg, thank God. But the other ones all went to U of O, Oregon Ducks, like university. And that was hard because we basically lived all together our senior year and we all hung out and did that stuff. And so after they left, it was hard to get used to. So obviously, I went up there quite a few times and basically stayed up there with them while they had school. If I didn't have school at UCC, I would go over there and stay with them for like a legit like 4 days or something and just hang out. And we would go to the game or when the games were there and that kind of stuff. But it was afterwards. It was shortly after that I found out I was pregnant with Braxton. And so that was like soon, like we only had the summer and that other part. And then I found out I was pregnant. And so that was a transition that I stayed friends with people, obviously, like during my pregnancy. But I obviously couldn't do the things that they were doing where I couldn't drink, I couldn't party, I couldn't do that thing because that's kind of how that life was, especially when you're a freshman and you want to go over there. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the frat parties and stuff, like that's definitely what they do. But so I'm like, I can't do that stuff. So it was a little bit hard for me to stay, like knowing that my life is about to change and that kind of stuff. So like going from, so I literally from high school, I was transitioning into being a mother. So if you can only imagine that. That was a whole nother thing. And then obviously transitioning to having a baby to where everyone else is still like they just finished their freshman year is when I had, or yeah, they just finished that. So it was just like a whole thing of them still being the young kids and getting to do whatever they wanted. And I was here being a mom. And so I definitely lost connection because it's a whole different world. And what you do, and yes, I can stay connected here and there, and it's good and all, but yeah, I think loss and like grief comes with that
Oh yeah.
because
It's like a chapter of you is not dying, but it's just a chapter's coming to an end.
yeah,
I do that with work when I switch jobs because I become close friends and family with whoever I work
Yeah.
with. And so it's like when one chapter ends, it's emotional. Like today I was super excited. Like, and it's funny that we're talking about this because
it's your
it was
first
it
day.
was my first day at my new job, and yesterday was my last day at my old job. And like this morning, I was super stoked to start my first job. But as I'm driving, I'm kind of like, oh, like it's a little sad, yeah, because I made good friends, and
It's 'cause
I
you're
know
like
I'm
family.
yeah, and I know I'm gonna stay connected with them because I've shown time and time again. I visit people at 3 of my old jobs. I still go in
Yeah,
and
but that's
see
you
people.
being intentional. So
Yeah.
pinpoint number one.
Yeah, you have to be intentional. You have to work towards it, and you have to be willing to keep that connection connected. Like it's not just one person doing all the work, even though sometimes it feels like it. But
Oh, sometimes it is.
but I go in and visit people that I used to work with because I care about them. I miss them. So it's even transitioning from job to job because there's going to come changes. You're going to change here and there, and you're going to have to do different things, whether it's jobs or schooling or, different chapters in your life, retirement, whatever chapter in your life that
I'd
you're
say
going
any
through.
transition, really.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I know we're talking about after high school specifically, but that comes with everything.
well, it's technically, I would say transition.
Yeah, just transition in general. It's not easy. It's for the best, but you have to, depending on how important that relationship is to you, you have to choose, and if it's healthy, you have to choose to fight for and to stay connected in that relationship.
And I feel like that once you like graduate high school, so like 17, 18 to like you're in your 20s, you literally are. This is who you are discovering who you are.
Yeah.
And it's really uncomfortable and hard. 20s are great, but they're hard.
Yeah.
You're like trying to live life and you have a lot of fun times, but you're just like kind of, I would say
A lot of reality too.
and there's reality and a lot of insecurity.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you are, so you're trying to search and you're trying to do all these things and strive and it's not really what it's supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so difficult to stay connected after high school?
I would say the biggest thing about staying connected is the intentionality of it. You have to be intentional with what you're doing in your actions. It's easy, like for my job or high school, you see that person every single day. 5 days a week. You get to see them all the time. So you're already, because you're either going for a paycheck or a degree or whatever, so you're having to see them already. So you get to have little moments here and there throughout the day without any work or striving for that. Then, let's say you quit the job or you leave high school or whatever the case may be. Now you have to take time out of your day on top of already working, already spending family time. You have to figure out time in your day to like, when can I come see this person? When can I say hi? When can I be intentional about communicating? When can I text? When can I call? Some of it's easier than others. Like just a quick, simple text is easy, but it also depends on the level of intimacy you want with that relationship. My buddy Steve and I were just talking about this yesterday because I was working with him. We've had 2 jobs together, and all of our time spent together is work. Like there's been a handful of times that we've hung out outside of work. All of our other stuff, like
a handful of times? No, way more than that.
No, I can count on one hand that we've.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Because I lived with him for a while,
Yeah, but that's what I was saying,
we were
though.
on different schedules.
But what you're doing with him is doing life. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing the daily,
Yeah,
not
we're
daily
doing daily
things,
tasks, but it's not like
we have to fix the oven. Yeah, we got to do that.
yeah,
but
we're
that's
not
your
setting up
friendship.
like intentional times to like go and have dinner and go and hang out, like
Which you need that too.
which we do.
Well, actually, I'm gonna give us a shout out. Me and Alyssa did. We have scheduled stuff for us to get together before.
But we were talking about this the other day. It's like we need to, because we ended up going to Eugene and getting lunch one time because we were burying a friend, and we were like, this is so weird. Like, this is like one of the only times that him and I have alone gotten to like hang out and go do something as guys. And we were like, it's kind of messed up that it took a friend dying for us to try and figure out a time, because life happens. Yeah. We both got married. They're just about to have a baby. Like, we just got life to deal with. And so it just made us think like, okay, going forward, like we always stay in communication, but we're moving forward. We want to be intentional about like, hey, let's do dinner. Even if it's something simple. We go over to their house, have dinner, play some cornhole, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just about being intentional with our time, even if it's an hour here or there. Like we talked about how my schedule is going to change. So even if it's him taking a lunch break because he drives all around, and him coming over and having lunch, just little moments like that where you choose to step out and you choose to stay connected because not just because you have to, but because you want to. And the same thing on the other side of the party of them reciprocating that. I think a lot of times there's a disconnect because there's not intentionality on each party. Only one person's like, hey, let's do this, or both aren't. You have to want to be in that place with that person. And there's a select few. I mean, you can't do it all. You can't have all these connections all the time with everybody. Sometimes you're gonna lose a level of intimacy with a certain person. You have to choose. Yeah, and
it sucks sometimes too.
It really sucks, but you have to choose. Okay,
definitely feelings have been hurt before.
Yeah, realistically, of my pick 5 people.
Yeah. Of
your guy friends or girlfriends or whatever that you really need to stay connected to, that are helping build your life. The other ones, you see them when you can see them. Yeah. You set up time when you can, but the other 5 get priority first, kind of thing. You
Or
know,
I'd say 3 to 5. It
3 to
depends.
5. I only say 5 because they say you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but that could include wife. You know.
I mean, does that include the people you work with? Because if not, I'm screwed. I'm just joking. I know they're gonna watch us. But now I'm just losing train of thought because I'm thinking how funny their faces are gonna be. And I so suck at getting off track. I'm so good at getting off track. But
I really like this question. I'm gonna ask you it first, and then I can answer it after.
okay.
But I think I'm the one that made this question. Anyways, how do you stay connected with new relationships that come into your life?
New relationships?
Yeah, especially with this like young adult group. There's always people coming in and out. And
Yeah.
You can't take them all on personally. You know, you kind of have to let them find their own groove. But just in general, new relationships.
First of all, stepping out and talking to them.
Yeah.
That's honestly, I feel like it's the hardest step.
Yeah.
I put myself out there though, how I am. I just automatically, I don't feel like I tried to do
But that
anything
also
for attention. It's just like I talk to everyone.
That makes them feel welcome though too. That's nice.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I like when somebody says the first word, especially when you're in a group
well.
of people that you don't like. It's welcoming and it's warming. It's like, okay, cool, you know.
Yeah.
If you're in the new environment.
Well, really, our group is about just connection. Like that's why we're doing it. But to keep new friendships is, I don't know. I think intentionality is the biggest thing. And I know I say this in so many times, but I cannot say it enough because if you're not intentional, don't expect to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, and just being true to who you are. Like,
Yeah.
I've noticed I've had way more authentic relationships when I am who I am. And like being confident with who I am.
Yeah.
Like literally just not caring and being like, you either like me or you don't. Like not caring so much about what people think. Like, yes, there's times in my life, but
Yeah.
I don't want my insecurities like get in the way of someone else. Like they're better looking than me, they're skinnier,
Or just how
they
you
have a better job, they
how
have-
you talk.
yeah, it's just literally everything. Just in like trying not to judge, thinking that you know someone when you really don't. Because when people truly open up to you and you see who they are and who their heart is, it's easy to love people. Sometimes it's hard on the outside, or if they're, a little bit hard in the
got
noggin.
a hard shell, but a nice
Hard
soft inside. What is
Oh,
it?
no, I am that
an
way.
M&M. Yeah, got a thin, hard candy or hard shell on the outside.
Well, that's not what I would get, because mine's peanut M&Ms. I like the peanut M&Ms. There's still hardness in there. You gotta break away. Still hard. Okay.
You said it.
But you were thinking it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. What were you saying now? Thanks a lot.
I'm
Don't
on
talk about
candy.
At the end of the day. I wish I could phone a friend right now. Okay, anyways, I don't remember.
Being
We're talking
vulnerable
about-
and being yourself and not
Yeah.
feeling like you have
and
to.
not judging people. Like
Yeah.
truly being like, I'm not gonna judge for what they say, what they
Yeah.
do. Just trying to get to know who they are inside, because there's a lot of people that put on this front, on the outside of who they are
Yeah.
and how they pretend to be. But then when you really get to start knowing people, one-on-one conversation, it can really open up. It takes people like a lot of guts to do in front of everyone. So
Yeah.
being one-on-one and saying like, where do you work? Like literally just the small details, like as if you were going to date someone. You're on a date and you want to get to know someone. That's what you would do with a friendship.
And truly listen. Like if you're gonna open up that door, like if you don't want to and you're not in the mood to open up that door, then don't.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna open up that door, truly listen. Like my friend Graham will be riding around in the van a lot, and he'll go to tell me something. I'm like, yeah, I know, you told me. And then like I'll finish his story, or he'll be like, I did this the other day. I'm like, yeah, because of this, this, and this, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, wow. He's like, you really listen. He's like, you're like a steel trap. I'm like, well, no,
I just had to learn how to listen for my wife, but
no, it's not that. It's just like when you truly listen to what somebody has to say,
because you care though.
it tells them you care. Yeah, there's been so many times
You're a special
where,
person, Michael, though.
oh,
But it turn into this every time.
but it really is. It tells them you care, and like, cause I've had that happen to me. Cause there'd be times where I feel like I have to repeat myself because people just aren't listening, and then somebody will repeat back. Yeah, somebody will
Don't even get me started. Don't want to repeat myself ever.
Yeah.
I'm like, you listen. I literally told Braxton, I'm like, you listen the first time because I'm not saying it again.
But when you hear someone repeat back to you like, oh yeah, and then you did this, and this, or whatever the case may be, and they listen to you, you're like, wow, like that feels so good. It's just such a warming
because
feeling.
you're being seen and you're being known.
You're being heard, yeah. So for this isn't even one of the questions.
Oh,
But
it's about to get crazy.
I just have something for men in general. It's hard as a guy to be intentional and like
Without being a creep.
Not
okay.
being a creep.
I spoke too soon. I was
Just
thinking that.
it's hard for guys in general because we don't process emotions or feelings very well. We just like this is this and this is the you don't even know what mood you're in. You don't know if you're hungry, angry, mad, sad.
So then get yourself a girl like Rochelle. She'll definitely get it out of you.
Well, not just that, but I'm talking about even like guy on guy friendships, like relationships where it's like you notice a lot of times guys generally don't reach out unless it's like sharing a video or but it's rare that you'll see a guy that's like, hey dude, just thinking of you the other day, hope you're doing good, like because a lot of guys are like, that's gay, like I'm not doing that, or that like big tough like bravado that they put on or whatever. But when you get past that and you decide to be intentional and you decide to be like, no, I'm going to text that person like, hey, I miss you. I hope things are going good. My friend Chris, I got rehired on at the Coke warehouse. And when I decided to not try and be someone that I'm not or try to, like, I just went into it being myself, being who I am. Chris ended up loving me for who I am. I ended up loving Chris for who he was. And I'll tell Chris anything, whether it's good, bad, ugly, vice versa. Whether it's he's given me advice, he'll tell me anything good, bad, ugly. But to this day, I stop in because I know he's not the kind of guy to reach out and be that person that will tell me how he's feeling or...
Well, the girls are like that too, though. There's some girls that won't truly.
But I'm not a girl, so I don't know that.
Well,
so,
okay,
but
I get what you're saying though, because you were used to be like.
I will, but that's what I'm saying is I will make the first move, and then as soon as I come into that warehouse, because he's busy a lot. So when I do come into the warehouse and we'll start having a good time. We'll start laughing, joking. He'll share things with me. So sometimes you have to just step up and be that person to make the first move. And if you can get past that, that first move and that I'm tough exterior, people will let down their walls so quick.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily.
I'm saying with your friends and staying connected.
Yeah, and I think...
I'm not talking about with new relationships. I'm talking about like old friends that you're staying connected
I think
with.
you need to get to know someone with new friendships, like in that thing. But also like being vulnerable enough to trust, because trust is hard. And trusting people what they're going to say and do. I mean, I would definitely say have discernment. That's for sure. Don't just go tell everyone about your business. I mean, that's my job, but but just know that there's possibility of something getting out or whatever. But I think you have to eventually let your guard down to be able to trust someone to.
Yeah.
But I've never regretted opening up to someone, even if it's been uncomfortable or whatever, and even if they use this against me. I've had that happen, use something against me, but I still never regretted.
You were real.
Yeah, I never regretted it because of how I felt and got out of it, and even though in the moment it helped or whatever, it was just a good time. So yeah, or you wanna pray?
Yeah.
For people who are struggling with staying connected and maybe need
help with that first move.
Yeah, or and like just making new friendships. I think that's really hard. Like good, positive
Yeah.
influence friendships. It's hard to find people like that.
Yeah.
Because we can't be everyone's friend.
No.
Just kidding. Okay. Okay, we're serious though.
Okay. God, we thank you for the people that you've put in our lives, Lord, and we just ask that you put more people in others' lives that just begin to pop up and show up. Anybody that needs a friend that has been asking about it, Lord, just begin to show and reveal to them that you've put specific people in their path and in their story, Lord, for them to get to know and lean upon. And Lord, we ask that you just help break down that fear and the anxiety of stepping out and being the first one to reach out, and to help us with our intentionality of reaching out to people and staying connected. And we just ask that you just build those relationships and you come into those relationships as well, so that we have you to lean on as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're interested in checking out more of our podcasts as they come available, please download our app in your device's app store or check us out on your podcast platform at Garden Valley Church. We look forward to seeing you next time.
That's crazy that you can't even see any of this stuff.
Yeah, the stuff all
When you
around
like know what's just right here, but what's like, it's kind of crazy to me. I wish I could do it.
We're in a washing machine. You can't even see it.
It's because everything's black. Okay, I just had to get a video of that.